Okay, so toxins, right? It seems like you can't get away from all the talk about toxins these days. Today we're going on a deep dive into detox,
Yeah.
and specifically this product called MasterPeace.
Oh, okay.
So we're looking at this interview with Flat Earth Dave
Okay.
on the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app YouTube channel
Right.
with this holistic health consultant who's promoting this product. Have you been looking into this?
Yeah, I have. And you know what's funny? The YouTube channel itself is maybe a little bit out there,
Yeah.
but the consultant actually brings up some really interesting points about just the massive amount of toxins we're exposed to every single day.
Right.
And it's not just what we're eating. They're saying it's in the air we breathe, with chemtrails, and even in our medications. It's hard to find stuff that's truly organic these days.
Yeah, it really is. Like, where do you even begin to escape it all?
Right. So that's where this product MasterPeace comes in. They're saying it's a simple solution with just two natural ingredients, nano-sized zeolite and marine plasma. Are you familiar with zeolites at all?
I know that they're in like some water filters and things like that, but
Okay.
I honestly couldn't tell you how they work.
Well, what's really cool about zeolites is that they have this structure that makes them naturally negatively charged. And you know how opposites attract?
Hmm.
So that's really the key to them being so powerful for detox, because
Okay.
a lot of the toxins that we're exposed to, they have a positive charge.
Yep.
So it's
Okay.
like these little magnets going around and grabbing those positively charged toxins, pulling them out of your system, and they nanosize them so they can get into all these little tiny places in your body
Oh, wow.
where those toxins like to hide.
So it's not just like a surface cleaning kind of thing. It's like a deep clean.
Exactly, a deep clean. And think about this. Zeolites are found naturally in areas that have the cleanest water in the world.
Wow.
So there's definitely something to that, how nature uses these minerals to purify.
Like we should be taking notes from that, right?
Absolutely. Now, on to the other ingredient, marine plasma. It's derived from phytoplankton,
Huh.
which is really pretty amazing when you think about it. You know, phytoplankton is at the base of the whole ocean's food chain.
Right.
And get this, marine plasma is incredibly similar to our own blood plasma.
Oh, wow.
They even used to use it in blood transfusions
Really?
way back in the day.
I had no idea. It's
Yeah.
wild. It sounds like they put a lot of thought into these ingredients then.
Yeah, that's what makes this so interesting. They're combining these two powerful natural ingredients and then nanosizing the zeolite to really like supercharge it.
Right. Of course, when something says that it can detoxify your body, there's always a little bit of skepticism,
Oh,
right?
of course. Yeah.
Is there any evidence to actually back up these claims?
There is. They actually did this pilot study where they showed that there was a significant reduction in PFAS and PFOS, you know, those forever chemicals,
Yeah.
within 30 days of people using MasterPeace.
Wow.
And they're actually wrapping up a much larger, more comprehensive, double-blind, placebo-controlled study.
Oh, wow.
So we'll have even more data coming out soon.
That's really interesting. Well, you know me, I love the science, but
Mhm.
I'm always curious to hear about the personal experience side of things too. The consultant in the interview, they talk about our own journey with MasterPeace, right?
They do, and it's really a powerful story. They were dealing with heavy metal poisoning for years and had tried all sorts of things to detox, but just couldn't seem to shake this brain fog. It was only when they found MasterPeace that things really changed for them.
That's really interesting. And that's actually where we're going to pick up in part 2.
Okay.
It's amazing to think that just 2 little ingredients could potentially have that much of an impact.
Right, yeah. It's definitely something worth unpacking more.
So we were talking about the consultant's experience with that heavy metal poisoning. It really makes you think, like, toxins can be kind of sneaky, right?
Yeah, totally. And their story, I think, shows how the effects aren't always super obvious right away. You know, struggling with brain fog for years, even after trying to detox, it shows just how stubborn those toxins can really be.
Yeah, it's like you don't even realize how many toxins you might be carrying around. Like, I don't know. Lately, I've been feeling like that mid-afternoon slump more than usual. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's something to think about for sure. The consultant talks about trying more traditional detox methods like juicing, herbs, things like that. And yeah, those helped a bit, but it wasn't until they found MasterPeace that they really felt like a major shift.
Interesting. So what was that shift for them? What was it actually like?
Well, they describe it as this lifting of the fog, almost like a sudden clarity and sharpness
Hmm.
mentally. And it's especially interesting, I think, because they're a sign language interpreter, right?
Oh, right.
So their job requires them to process information incredibly quickly and to have really good recall, so any kind of cognitive boost would be huge.
Yeah, it's crazy how much our mental clarity can be tied to what's happening in our bodies, right? It's not just about feeling good physically. It's about being able to think clearly.
That's it, yeah. It's like, are we even reaching our full potential if we're weighed down with all these toxins? It really shows how the mind and body are so connected.
And you know me, I have to ask about this. The consultant mentions having really vivid dreams,
Oh, yeah.
almost like psychedelic experiences, and that totally caught my attention. Do you think there's actually a link between detox and having like more intense dreams?
Well, it's really interesting. There isn't a ton of scientific research specifically on that connection, but there is more and more evidence coming out about how a clean internal environment, you know what I mean, can really impact our brain function.
Hmm.
And dreams are part of that.
So the consultant believes that by removing those toxins from the brain, MasterPeace could be contributing to those clearer, more vivid dreams. Like it's clearing the way for the subconscious to come through.
That's the theory. And what's really interesting is that they said those vivid dreams continued even after they stopped taking MasterPeace for like 2 weeks.
Wow.
So it could be that the product had this like lasting effect, bringing their system to a new baseline.
Almost like it hit the reset button so their body could manage the toxins coming in better.
Right, exactly. It kind of shows the long-term possibilities of detox. Even short-term changes can have these ripple effects on our health.
Yeah. Now, it's important to remember that the consultant isn't saying MasterPeace is some kind of miracle cure.
Right.
They're saying it's part of a bigger picture when it comes to detox.
Yeah, exactly. They talk about a more holistic approach, looking at things like diet, even stress management.
Yeah, and they seem to be really into these simple, natural solutions, too.
Yeah.
Like just walking barefoot on the ground, what they call grounding.
Right, grounding. It might sound a little weird, but there's actually some research behind it.
Really?
Yeah, the idea is that the Earth's surface has this negative charge, and when we make direct contact with it, we can actually absorb electrons, and those electrons act as antioxidants in our bodies.
So it's like a natural energy boost straight from the earth.
Exactly. And it's free.
That's amazing. You can't beat that.
Yep. And the consultant also talks about the importance of deep breathing. It helps oxygenate the body and get the lymphatic system moving, which is key for detox. It's another one of those super simple things that can make a big difference.
Yeah, it's all about the simple stuff sometimes.
Totally.
And of course, diet.
Mm-hmm.
Focusing on whole foods, minimizing processed stuff, sugar, unhealthy fats, pretty standard stuff,
Yeah.
but always good to be reminded of, right?
Absolutely. It's all about giving your body the right tools to do what it needs to do to cleanse and rejuvenate.
Yeah.
And part of that is managing stress,
Yeah.
which they say can really get in the way of the whole detox process.
Right. So it's not just what we're putting into our bodies, it's how we're managing what's going on in our minds as well.
It's all connected. They really emphasize listening to your body, making changes gradually, and finding what works for you in the long run.
I like that. It's not like they're pushing some crazy restrictive detox. It's about finding balance.
Exactly, balance. And that brings us back to what you mentioned earlier about potential downsides to detox. Is it always safe,
Yeah, that's a good question, and one that I think we should definitely explore in part 3. While all these things seem pretty safe overall, I think it's always good to be cautious.
Totally.
Maybe even get some guidance.
For sure. In part 3, we'll delve into that more and look at some of the consultant's other tips for supporting your body's natural detox abilities.
So are there downsides to detox? I mean, is it always a good thing?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, a lot of these things we've talked about seem pretty harmless, but I think it's definitely smart to be mindful about it.
Right. Yeah, the consultant actually cautions against those like crazy extreme detoxes.
Oh, yeah.
The ones where you're like drinking nothing but lemon water for a week.
Yeah, exactly. And they say that using any detox product without talking to someone, getting some guidance can actually be kind of risky. So it's always best to talk to a doctor or someone, especially if you have any health conditions going on.
Yeah, for sure. It's not one size fits all.
No, definitely not. It's really about, like the consultant says, listening to your body and figuring out what feels right for you. Adjusting as you go.
So it's about working with your body, not forcing it to do something.
Exactly. And they also make a good point that detox isn't like a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process, right? It is. It's about making choices that support your body's natural ability to cleanse itself and regenerate.
So it's less about quick fixes and more about creating healthy habits for the long term.
Exactly. And on top of the things we've already talked about, like grounding, deep breathing, diet, they suggest a few more things to think about.
Oh, really? Like,
Well, one thing they mention is dry brushing. Have you ever heard of that?
yeah, I've heard of it. What is that supposed to do exactly?
It's really simple. You just take a brush with natural bristles and you gently massage your skin before you get in the shower. And it's supposed to help with blood circulation and lymphatic drainage,
Okay.
which can help your body detoxify better.
Huh. That actually sounds kind of nice. I might have to try that.
Yeah.
What else?
They also talk about certain foods that are really good for detox. Things like leafy greens, cruciferous veggies, broccoli, cauliflower, and fruits like berries and lemons.
Yeah, those are all really good for you. Lots of antioxidants and nutrients.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And of course, staying hydrated,
Right.
drinking lots of clean, filtered water.
Water is so important for flushing out those toxins. I try to always have water with me.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Little things like that can make a big difference.
So we've covered a lot in this deep dive. We talked about this product, MasterPeace, with zeolite and marine plasma. And we've also talked about the consultant's personal story, that holistic approach they take, grounding and deep breathing, all of that.
Yeah, it's been pretty interesting. And we talked about how it's important to listen to your body, make changes slowly, and just find what works for you.
This has been fascinating. I have a lot to think about now. And
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone listening does too.
Hopefully, this has made everyone think about things a little differently and given you some ideas to try.
Yeah, for sure. And remember, detox isn't about being perfect. It's about being mindful and making choices that support your health and well-being.
Yeah. Here's one last thing to think about. What's one small change you can make today to support your body?
Maybe it's one of the things we talked about, like dry brushing or just making sure you're drinking enough water.
Or maybe it's just taking a moment to really appreciate how amazing your body is, how it can actually cleanse itself.
Well, that's all the time we have for this deep dive. But remember, the journey to knowledge never ends. So keep exploring, keep questioning, keep diving deeper.
Yes. Stay curious.